actually, you're clear, and I just got to make sure that the light from behind me doesn't ruin everything. So it looks like it's okay. It looks okay from here. How are you making it look okay from there?
As good as it's gonna get.
Yeah, I think so. So
I only got so much to work with.
Yeah, there you go. Well, actually, you know what? I can do that proportionately by doing that, eh?
Let me just get this organized here so I don't have to put it on my leg. There you go.
I don't know why, but you're getting I'm getting your picture loud and clear, no problem, and the sound's good.
Yeah, I think everything's good. Yeah.
Okay, good. So I'm not sure what really. I didn't have, as always, I got a real concise plan, which is nothing. But so I thought I might just review some of the artwork and stuff that we've been doing. I wanted to do, before we get started, I wanted to talk a little bit about what I'm doing here while I'm making myself useful, while I'm enjoying the horrible sun that I have to put up with here. So I've been I produced a song. You know, I always do music when I'm here, and I produced a song called Autistically Awesome, and it's and we've done a little bit of a campaign called Artistas para Autismo, Artists for Autism, and we're videoing and we're taking pictures, and all the local artists, as always, they just said yes, of course, we'll support whatever you're doing, and so I just wanted to show some of the artwork.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So that would be, well, you can't see what I'm doing, but that's what I'm doing. I'm showing some of the artwork that's the local artists produced for our campaign, which was pretty good. And just amazing, you know, you just tell them what you want. And it's funny, I have a funny process here because everybody gets talking about a vision and this and that and the other thing. It's kind of, I don't bother. I just tell the artist, you know what, this is what we're doing. This is what it's about. You do whatever you think would be best. And man, you know, left to their own devices, you always get a better result because people put their heart into it.
Oh, nice. That's nice. I can't see all of it, but I can see some of it. Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's too small for me to see it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, you'll see it when I put the podcast up. So anyway, so that's that, and then just kind of a bit of a history of it. There's an old one from the Methadone Doctor campaign. This is one from last year from the Nunca Tarinda campaign for survivors.
Yeah, I remember seeing that one.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing, eh? And you know what? I just couldn't bring myself not to mention good old John Hall and the Bluegrass Band and our town. Yeah. I'm just kind of going down the history here, and I always bring a little bit of good old Keswick with me. Connor's music there. Man, the artists here, you just tell them, can you do this? And they go, yeah, okay. And they just do it. It's pretty amazing. So a little more.
Artists are like that.
Yeah, they love.
If you're using that side of your brain, then usually it's all kind of the same.
Yeah, and you know what? They love it when you just give them free hand. Here, do it. This is what I need. Do whatever you think is best for that.
Right.
You always get the best result because then you don't get your own stupid influence, you know?
Right. So are you going to put a song on the beginning or end of this podcast?
I'll think about that. This one probably not. Maybe the next one because we're still working on the video and stuff, and I want it all to come out at once.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So to get back to the matter at hand, that would be me and another guy. Another piece of art that we produced recently was in relation to the Lakeshore Resistance Campaign.
Always current up here.
Yeah, well, it seems to be current. Well, you know what? That's enough art for one day, and I'm sure they had enough of it up there. Where we're at right now is we're proceeding. We have the 8 people who have we filed our claims in small claims court. That's that issue in relation to the value of the properties and what effect the town's actions have had on that. So it's a value issue. And then separate from that, all of the other issues dealing with all of the property, and there's about 400 properties, and let me tell you, there's about 400 individual set of circumstances that the town tried to just blow by, and that is a subject of a judicial review. I'm talking to the lawyer about it tomorrow. We plan on having it filed by the 22nd of June. So as of late, though, there's been some discussion between the parties about the wisdom of going ahead. Right, so and genuinely on both sides, everybody's looking at, you know, what a big mess this is going to be, trying to get to the bottom of it, because they haven't been able to get to the bottom of it for 50 years. So, I mean, it makes sense to look at what the value of going ahead or not, or is there anything else, any other way that we can deal with this? So, and I genuinely hope that would be the way that it goes, and we're waiting to see, but we're looking at, because everybody's going to start incurring costs now. We are, and so is the town, and so it might. So that's come up as of late, and I believe both sides are taking a serious look at it, which is I think a really positive development. And
well, you can keep if they do happen to make an agreement that everybody's good with, and you can keep it on.
Yeah, I just dropped you, just so you know.
That's all right.
Yeah, okay. I just dropped Martin, everybody, but he seems to come over. Okay, he didn't hurt himself.
I'm back.
Go ahead.
I hurt my elbow on that one.
So go ahead. You were saying?
Well, I think I said what I was going to say. Is if you can keep the cost down, you know, if they can make some sort of agreement, get to the table and make an agreement, keep the cost down. I think that's the name of the game.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree 100%. And the thing about it is, there's only one way to make these matters come to a head, and that's blow a whole bunch of money on it, and then everybody has no choice but to actually face the issues. And so you can either face the issues now and save the money, or blow all the money, and then you'll be standing front and center having to face the issues anyway. It's kind of it's crazy anyway. So I'm expecting to have some conversations. I'm speaking to Colin tomorrow. We're hoping to talk to the solicitors for the town and for the town lawyer, because there's two sets of litigations by Monday. So we're hoping we're going to propose some kind of an alternative step that could be taken next to, and setting the other stuff aside for now or whatever. So that's all good. And did you get any word on the just on a separate issue? Did you get any word on the cemetery? What's going to happen with that cemetery in Pepperell?
But no, but I don't know what happened.
Well, I don't know.
Remember, we're in COVID here. We're not.
Yeah,
we don't
well,
get anywhere.
I heard.
I don't even cemetery.
I heard that the mayor already bought her platinum shovel for the sod turning ceremony, but I don't know. I'm just kidding. She hasn't. I'm just joking. And if it wasn't so serious, it would be laughable. But anyway, there was quite a hullabaloo. Karen, they actually, someone from the department that would be responsible for determining whether that cemetery was allowed to be moved or not, the governing agency sent the town a letter saying, do you want this designated as a historical site, or do you want this preserved in any way? And somehow it stopped at somebody's office in the town and got responded, no, don't worry about it, just dig all the bones up, ship them somewhere else, we're not interested, no. And they did so without notifying Karen from the Heritage Society, and they did it without contacting Dave Harding, the actual ward councillor for where that cemetery is. And they just unilaterally made that decision somewhere in the building.
Right.
My guess would be the mayor's office, but that's just my opinion.
No, I don't know. I read a bit about it, but it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Don't know either. Okay, so there isn't a lot of new really to discuss until we find out. But here, there is some other good news. I want to take this time to really thank the 400 residents along the waterfront. I've notified everybody, published the complete list of properties, 400 of them, and everybody was given the opportunity to have their property not referred to in our evidence or in our explanations to the courts about the different circumstances. So basically, what I've done is I've assembled a list of all 400 properties, and I'm submitting 5 categories of property title, different types, or 5 scenarios that would create a valid dispute. And all 400 properties fall into one of those categories.
Yes.
Yeah, so technically, the town couldn't actually say right today that they own even one.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, except where the actual 66-foot mark reaches the water. Okay, that is the town's frontage. But anywhere where that 66 feet falls shy of the water and there's a strip of land, that either belongs to the ministry or it's a residue piece from across the road, right?
Right.
So those people could have a dispute with the ministry about, okay, who owns that? Was it reclaimed land? Whatever, aquarial, whatever the rights. But it is a dispute between the Ministry of Natural Resources and these people who have all agreed, no biggie, you use it, we don't need it. So that, and the town has no argument in it, no say. And that's always been clear. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to get into the legal arguments because I'm right and they're wrong, so why waste my time, you know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding. But, because there's no answer to the law. That's the problem. Everybody agreed. There is no answer. And the town was taking advantage of that confusion. And they, when they came out of the box after the July meeting last year, they started turning people down for permits, actually saying because we own it.
Right.
Yeah.
And yet on the stuff that I've kind of seen, they said they haven't made any determination what they're going to do with it, but they're actually they're just excluding some people's rights while they're deciding.
Well, here's the thing. During that process, they actually brought up the issue of an interim control bylaw. So then they could say, and that would have been an intelligent legal step to take. It would be obvious,
right.
Okay, we want to, until we find out who owns everything and exactly what we're going to do, an interim control bylaw, so we have the right to turn people down for permits and stuff. And they were cautioned by the town lawyer, Mr. Bigger. He was that it would be, people would have a right to challenge it as owners because of the history and because they were always granted permits in the past, and the bylaws and the rules and the regulations haven't changed. So in the end, they agreed to go study it and bring a report back to council, and to this day, as far as I know, they didn't pass an interim control bylaw because it wouldn't be legal. So then they just said, oh, okay, we're the owners, we're not going to give you a permit, you can't apply for a permit because it's our land. So then when somebody told them, you haven't really proven that yet, maybe you shouldn't be saying that. So then they changed tactics to, okay, we'll give you a permit as soon as you can prove you own it. Yeah, when they haven't proved themselves that they own anything, number one. Number two, all parties have agreed for 50 years that ownership's not a possibility, and they agreed to not deal with that issue, set it aside, and all of the policies they developed were about agreement, right? Okay, well then, so now they're violating that, and they're taking advantage of the confusion and saying, well, as soon as you produce a deed, we'll give you a permit. And then there's a whole bunch of other properties where people actually have land titles and all that. It's so convoluted, and the town knows it. So they thought they were just going to roll over everything because nobody could prove it. You know what I mean? Like they were just taking advantage of the confusion. But you know what? They involved these 400 properties in 3 major projects from 2015 on, never having proved that they own a single property. They just threw all of them into the mix. For the big bike path, they actually were into the planning stages with the region about all these people's property without ever having consulting anybody or notifying anybody.
Right.
Then they did the whole the shoreline beaches study. They spent 120 grand on. And the director of economic development stood up last June and said we're having, and the town had the council just funded a phase 3 study of the beaches, right? So he said, well, we're going to accumulate a list of town assets, and it will include the private lands that are the subject of the shoreline. Yeah, they said it right there. Their list of assets are going to include the privately owned properties. So it said privately owned properties. Yeah, so they included, that's another major project. They included these, never having proved they own a single thing.
Right.
Yeah. So, and you know what it all comes down to? I finally figured it out, in the end. Rusty Russell recommended, Charles Loopstra, he did a big study at the same time in the 90s. His first recommendation was, let's get an R plan done. Linton, Lac and Monteith, as far back as 79 when this issue first came up, had his whole report concluded with a recommendation, let's get an R plan done, let's get it all established. And in the July meeting, it was brought up, and they still didn't want to get one done, and the reason is they would have to admit what they own and don't own. The town doesn't want to do that, and it would only cost 120 grand. They spent 120 grand on the beaches study, 50 grand on the lawyer to screw everybody for their property, and then they paid 40 grand for appraisals of 8 properties for appraisals that don't even apply. So anyway, I don't want to keep ranting because I've done enough of it about all this stuff. But it kind of, it epitomizes where it is today. I think the town knows now, and I think everybody involved knows, okay, there's no solutions here unless everybody sits down and works it out. And I'm hoping to move eventually into that. I mean, I don't know how much the town and me are going to have to beat each other up until we say, okay, we better just sit down and try to work this out.
Yeah, well, as I said, I think you've got everybody kind of at the table, and I don't know if they're standing on their chairs yet, facing each other, but soon enough they will be.
I think so. Well, there's no other choice. They have to. Everybody has to make, because they did this already in the 90s. They went at it. They got the study done. Rusty Russell himself, blah, blah, and in the end, they were all here already, and they realized this cannot get done. We have to make deals, and that. But you know what else? Just one last point before I finish my rant. The town owns a road there, right?
Right.
Ask them where you. Excuse me, you own the road here. Could you tell me where it is? Don't you think maybe they might not get a survey done for their road? No.
Yeah, you would think that, like as I say, the R plan would be pretty handy.
Like, why the hell do the people have to pay for an R plan for the town's road?
Yeah.
If the town surveyed the road, the people would already know where their property was.
Right.
Yeah, so this is the town. Like, it's just insane. Their road. It's their road. Can you tell me where it is, please? Well, actually, we don't know. But we know we own it. We own everything else too,
I know we did the old, when we were looking at properties, we usually get the tape measure out, go to the middle of it, and then kind of guess that it's around 33 feet from somewhere.
Well, let me tell you something.
Oh.
Yeah, the Rusty Russell established, and the town did, everybody agreed more or less, that there is a southern lot line, there's the opposite side of the road, demarking that side of the road. There's a fairly good description all the way down the lake, right from Dalton Road all the way down to Church Street, of that side of the road. And so with that, you can actually go the entire length and measure 66 feet. And wherever that lands is more or less what the town owns, that road allowance. And in a large number of cases, there's land beyond that. And that land has nothing to do with the town. Some of it has been reclaimed from lake bottom, but the ministry is not interested in disputing it and doesn't care that these people are the users. And some of it is actually a residue piece from the piece across the road, in which case it's a dispute between the Ministry of Natural Resources and the town, and there's no riparian rights for the town. They have no business, they have no stake in any of this. The town has a road. Go survey your damn road and let us know and stop talking about indemnity, because you don't want indemnity from the people on Walter Drive, and you own that road. It's insane. Anyway, that's my rant, Martin. I'm sorry, I get a little bit wound up on that. I'm quietly by myself here in Cuba, so I have too much time on my hands to immerse myself in all this crap, eh?
We all have too much time on our hands, so you're not any different.
That's a COVID symptom. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing though, the numbers here in Cuba are actually among the lowest in the world per capita, eh?
Right.
Yeah, and every single person on the street here wears their mask. And they don't wear, they wear their mask. And if I'm walking there with my mask down like this, 4 citizens will tell me, put your damn mask up. Yeah, like it's not, it ain't the citizens complaining that the government's making, everybody is in agreement here. Okay, that's it.
Hardly anybody with that one, so
yeah.
I think it's the right way. We just got to get inoculated and everything will be fine. All right, Tim, well, I guess we'll say enough of that for now, and keep warm.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'll get a hold of you later in the weekend to maybe to do something next week. Once I have to talk to Colin tomorrow to figure out what it is we're going to propose back. I can't speak to the specific discussion. If it's formatted in the form of any kind of an offer between parties here, I can't speak to that because that's privilege.
Not to say anything about it.
Well, yeah, it's privileged information anyway, as far as the courts are concerned, because it's during settlement conference. So I mean, that's.
I'll give you a little bit more as time goes on, I'm sure.
Yep. But I'll keep you posted, and you know, I gotta go get a cappuccino. Sorry, I'm just my burdens here are just getting unbearable. But and trying to find it. What's that?
I hope you don't break a big sweat getting over there.
Yeah, trying to find a shady spot to sit and enjoy my cappuccino. It's bloody brutal, eh?
Yeah, we're feeling great for you, so we'll let you go.
Yeah, thanks, Martin. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye. So that was Martin, and thanks everybody for anybody who listened, and we'll keep you posted. Take care.